Welcome back to the channel. So far we have learned about collections, HTTP methods, request bodies and crucial headers for authentication. Now let's move on to the next, query parameters and path variables. These are two essential ways for you to send data or specify exactly what you want from an API right within the URL itself. So understanding this is very important, and it is the key to make precise API calls. So let's dive into Postman and see how these work. First, let's talk about query parameters. They are also called query params. What are they? Query parameters are a set of key value pairs appended or added to the end of a URL after a question mark. If there are more than one parameter, they are separated by an ampersand. They are primarily used to filter, sort, paginate, or provide optional data to the server. They don't typically identify a unique resource, but rather they modify the request so that you can get a specific resource from a collection of resources. So let's go and take a look, do a demo request for this query parameters. So add a request, which is the default GET request, and here we have a demo URL, and right now it has no query parameters. To add a query param, you simply go to the params tab and then add as many key value pairs as you need. And as you type, look at the URL. Postman will automatically add the key value pairs after a question mark. So that's how you add the query parameters at the end of a URL. So let's go ahead and use and as I type, you can see this is the first key and the Postman automatically adds it. And when you specify the value of the user, the query params, for example here I can say 1, you can see how the key value is automatically added by Postman, which is really smart. And then you can add as many as you want in the params tab, which will be converted into the query parameters separated by ampersand. So let's add another one, ID, with a value of D, and you can see as I type it adds more query parameters separated by ampersand, and I can disable or enable any query param and it automatically immediately reflects in the URL. So that's so easy to manage these query params in Postman. You can completely remove everything, all the query params, and it automatically removes the question mark too. That's how you enable and disable it easily. And this is very efficient and easy for testing different scenarios quickly. And if I hit send, you can see here how it specifies, it fetches the specific resource. Now let's move to path variables, sometimes called path parameters. What are they? Unlike query parameters, path variables form a part of the URL itself, an integral part of the URL. So you specify them by in the URL, just like you have /post, you continue with /x/y/z, and it goes on. And for this demo, let's do a get, use the same URL, and here instead of query params, I'm going to specify the path variables. So immediately at the end of the URL, after slash, add a slash and then add 1 here, for example. So 1 here is a path param. These path params won't appear in any of the query params because they are not query params, so you won't see there. But if you add 1, so this one is added to the path, and that's why it's called path variable. So if I click send, I get the host number 1, and you can easily change it to 1, 2 to get the ID 2, post ID 2, post ID 3. So you can filter and see how easily you can fetch the specific resource from a collection of resources from the server. So when do you use which? Use path variables when you are identifying a specific unique resource. For example, specifying fetching by the user ID. For example, I can specify the users and I want to fetch the information about user ID 123, and that's how I do it. Here it is not found, but this is an example. Or if you want to see who are all the active users, you will get all the active users This is a collection of all the resources, you can say. So it returns everything here. That's the very effectiveness of using this query params. So understanding how to effectively use query parameters and path variables is fundamental for navigating and interacting with RESTful APIs. So using them, you can exactly request what data you need. So in our next video, we will shift our focus from sending request to receiving and managing responses. So we will dive into saving and managing API responses in Postman, which is essential for reusability and analysis. If this video helped you conquer query params and path variables in Postman, please hit that like button, subscribe for more in-depth Postman tutorials, and check out the full Postman tutorial series playlist here. See you in the next one.